This conference will now be recorded.
Sorry. Okay. So I'll start with what's performance testing. So performance testing means basically it's a non-functional testing. Okay. Someone will call it as non-functional testing or performance testing. In project, they will use a different word. So it's basically non-functional testing. So why we are doing this? To check the stability, responsiveness, scalability, and speed of the applications when we are giving a workload. Okay. So that this is the nature of the performance testing. Okay, if you take the goal, okay, if you take the goal of the performance testing, what we can check: how the network bandwidth, how the users it's behaving, how the memory utilization, how the response time is behaving, how processing speed we are getting. So these are the goal of the performance testing. But if you take the performance testing, um, there are certain types. I said we have a certain types, right? So what's the type is, so here we are using JMeter, right? So if you take the types, we have a certain types. Okay, let me share and type it for you. It's my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, which screen? That document, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, then fine. Okay, so basically we have a certain type, right? So I'll tell what it is. Load testing first. Okay, if you take it as load testing, normal thing, they will give users like 100 or 1000 or 3000. So they will give a load, how many users we want to put into the applications, and we used to test it for certain period of time. Okay, that is called load testing, normal testing. Okay, we are giving a load to the application. Don't worry, the user will be shared by the development team. Okay, either be 100 or 1000 or 2000 based on application capacity. The team will provide the user. Based on the user, we will test the applications. That is called load testing. And main important point, uh, how long we need to test, right? Performance testing, how long we need to test. Basically in all the project, 99 percentage of the project we used to test 1 hour. 1 hour steady state we used to check. Steady state in the sense, basically we used to check for 1 hour. Sometimes they will give 2 hour, sometimes they will give 3 hour, sometimes they will give 4 hour. It depends. Okay, but we used to check only for 1 hour. They call it as 1x load. 1x load means the project team, they will give a user like a virtual users. They will give an users like 100 means, that is called 1x load. They call it as 1x load. Okay, that is normal, 100 users. Some people they call it as 2x load means. But if they are giving virtual user as 100 means, if they are mentioning like 2x means, how many user you have to give? 200 users. Okay, these things you have to clarify with the development team. Some people they call it as 1x load or 2x load, 3x load. These load some project. Okay, they will pronounce in 1x or 2x or 3x. Okay, so you need to understand how many users and what type of load it is. That is called load testing. Okay, normal, they you will get an users and you will get an hour. Okay, this is the load testing. Okay, I mentioned one word like steady state. Okay, what mean by steady state means before that you should know about ramp up, ramp down. Okay, ramp up, steady state, then ramp down. Ramp up means we have 100 users. How many users the client gave? Virtual user 100. Okay, 100 users they gave.
If you're talking, we're unable to hear you.
Mm, it's already started recording, right? Hello, hello.
Yes, but
Yeah, Priyanka, recording is
Yes,
started.
yes.
Oh, okay. So actually, I started where you missed actually. Uh,
For
I,
brief, for brief minute, I could not hear you. Not sure if the crowd was able to hear you.
oh, okay. So you missed me from the
Now,
scratch.
now you're good. Now you're good.
Okay, then you
Yeah.
missed, everyone missed me in the scratch. Is my understanding correct?
no, no.
So you, whatever started explaining load test till we use it, you got it
These
right?
are, yeah, right. Please continue. You're good for now.
Okay, then fine, then
Sure.
fine. Because it suddenly that recording pop-up raised, right? So I got confused. Okay, no problem. Okay, so you know what is load testing? So if in applications 100 user they will mention like in how the JMeter or normal tool how we will give means we will not give all 100 user at a time. If we are giving all 100 user accessing the application, definitely it will get crash. Don't think about 100 users, but in real time application definitely it will be 1000 or 2000 or whatever it is. Okay, so for example I'm telling 100. Okay, so all 1000 user accessing applications at the same time, it will crash. In real time scenario also, this is not a valid scenario. Even if a performance testing, I will log in at first, maybe 1 second or 2 second less, other performance tester will log in, right? So other perf test user will log in. So there will be some delay between each and every users in real time as well, right? So that is called ramp up. We will not give all the 100 users, 1000 users at a time. So instead of that, how we will view every 2 minutes, log every 2 minutes we'll ramp up 10 users, or every 5 minutes we'll ramp up 10 minutes. So how we can approach it? So how we can approach the ramp up? Maybe like overall 20 minutes. So 20 minutes we will target to reach the 1000 users, or 15 minutes, less than 20 minutes. Okay, or 15 minutes. So go with 20 or 15 minutes. So these requirement will not given by client. It's our assumption. Okay, totally we have 1000 users. So how we want to ramp up? Because in real time, not all the 1000 users will not log in at the same time. So there will be some delay, 1 or 2 minutes or 1 second delay, right? So we want to approach the same way. We are giving some ramp up. Steady state means after 15 minutes what will happen, all the 1000 users will be in active status, right? All 1000 users will be in active status. So here in steady state, how many users we have? 1000 users. So the client, how many hours they want to execute means you will give 1 hour. Ramp down after doing a 1 hour, same thing, same settings you can give to ramp down. Getting just anyway, we will see how we can set it in JMeter. But before setting this into JMeter, you should know the basics. What is steady state? what is ramp up and what is ramp down. Clear? This point is clear, right? This is very important. So the first type is load testing. The load testing, how it's normal, how many users we are running to test the application, how the application is behaving. That is called load testing. Normal thing. You have a user, you 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 have how many users you are going to execute, how many hours you want to execute. That is called load testing. Okay. Stress testing. Next is stress. Okay. So you're not sure. Okay. Where the application is getting break. See, stress I'm giving. Where application is getting break. Okay. Some application. I'm not sure what is
uh,
happening with the recording today. Mm, I'm not sure. It's automatically starting and stopping, right?
We
Yes.
don't we don't see what's going on, but for brief moments we cannot hear you. Then you're back again.
Oh, okay. Not sure what is happening. We'll try. Okay. Okay. So then stress testing. Okay. Stress testing means basically we have a 10 virtual user means their assumption is like 10 users. Okay. 10 users application will handle the load. Okay. But we want to know how many users will applications will handle. They want to test where it exactly break. Okay. So they will double it or triple it. Okay. So that is called stress testing. Maybe where the application is getting crashes. Okay. Application crashes, whatever they are testing, right? That is called stress testing. We are giving maximum user load to crash the applications to test how many users the application is handling. Okay. That is called stress testing. Okay. Another thing, endurance testing. Some project or some people they call it a soak testing. Okay. Okay. What is mean? So we are going to run the applications for prolonged period of time. Okay. Means, okay, prolonged period of time means either some people have run for 4 hours, some people, but don't worry why I'm mentioning some people or some people. Depends on the requirement. This hours will vary. Okay. So or 8 hours or 24 hours. Okay. So we are running. So we are running the test for the prolonged period of time, like 4 hours or 8 hours or 24 hours. That is called endurance testing or soak testing. So why we are testing that long period? Okay, why we are going with 8 hours? Why we are having 24 hours? Some applications will be accessible for all the 24 hours, and some people will be accessing for only 8 hours or 4 hours. Why we are testing this long period means to check the memory leakage. Okay. So so in order to check the memory leakage, especially the memory leakage, we are doing an endurance test. Maybe if you are running a long period, any memory leakage is happening or not. To test that, we are doing a soak test. Okay. And another thing is volume testing or capacity testing. So what they will do, they will give more test data to the application and that they will test, not user. They will give test data. Test data in the sense, suppose if you're login application, after that you want to um, retrieve something, okay, or you want to enter details or credit card details or something. So to giving the details, that is called test data. I'm calling about test data, okay. So giving details, I'm calling about test data. So that particular data we are giving more, and we are testing the application. User will be less, but the data, it keep on using different set of data. That is called volume testing. Okay, so these are the important testing. Mostly all application, 90% of the application, they will do only load testing. Okay, so also I'll not tell they will not use, but the basic things, all the project and applications, they will go with load testing because of how application is behaving for the certain uses of load. Okay, so this is the type of performance testing. Okay, then, so you know what's performance testing, why we need, what's the type. Okay, then coming to the picture of life cycle. Okay, I'll tell you what's the different phase. You know the different phase, like NFR gathering. NFR means non-functional requirement gathering. So it is called NFR, non-functional requirement. Sorry, actually, so these are the types of, sorry, these are the life cycle of the performance testing. NFR gathering, test plan creation, scripting, executions, reporting, and sign off. Okay, finally is the sign off. We call it as summary report, or summary report, or sign off. In summary report we'll get sign off. Okay, so these are the different phase. So I'll tell you how we can approach. So here only it will start from live section. Okay, this and all, it not like how we can say, it's not a tool, right? It definitely, this is how we are approaching the project, how we are gathering the requirement. So definitely these, till here you'll not expect any of the tool. Okay, when we come into the JMeter into the picture, then we can see how the JMeter looks like. So don't accept till here it's tool. Okay, so just focus on how we can get the project, how we can approach the project, how we can get the users load the requirement and everything. Okay, still now, still we are understanding the performance testing. The second is very important, very important. If you are in higher years of experience, even if you are a beginner, I mean beginner in the sense, first year of experience, it still would be great to understand this. Okay, don't focus only scripting, execution, scripting and execution. Okay, before NFR and test plan, scripting is nothing. Okay, because based on this only, NFR only, we are going to do scripting and executions. Okay, so coming to reporting, sorry, coming to NFR, I'll share the different screen. So you can see the blank Excel, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So what we'll do means, you should not send the blank Excel sheet. Okay, NFR, you will not fill any data, but you have to provide the sheet to the development team and the client. Okay, why we are giving the sheet to the client or development team? Because once you get the requirement only, you will start the scripting, right? So you need some details. So whatever you want, you have to ask them to fill the sheet, then you will get more ideas. Okay, so basically how the NFR will be, it completely Excel. Okay, it's completely an Excel. First sheet you can see, normal thing, cover page, who created that, uh, what is the project name, uh, what is the version, what is the project name, who filled that, everything. Okay, so you can see all the informations like, I don't want to give alignment and painting and all. I'll tell you the content, okay? Basically, here it will be the project name, which project we are going to test, okay? What is the version of the project? Why I'm just mentioning the version? You know the project name. Maybe the project name is perf test, okay? In perf test, maybe you may test the second version as well, okay? Some people they call it as, right, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. Why they call it as? Because already they done a performance testing, maybe some implementation they done, so we want to test that functionality along with an existing functionality, so they maybe call it as 2.0 or 3.0. Maybe they will call it as performance test with maybe db changes, means db. So different version name they will give, okay? So what version? Even the first project, right? Maybe some other, maybe Accenture done testing first project, okay? Maybe they are not doing good, maybe it is coming to the cognizant, so already done a performance testing by different company, okay? So the different versions might be there, okay? So that is called a version, I'm just mentioning, okay? Different versions will be there. If but try to mention that which version, it's a first time or second time, you need to understand that, right? So version, and who filled that, who created this, maybe created by important, and when we created date, and main important point is sign off, because this is the cover page. You just give about the project things. Once you get on all the informations, you will get a call with client as well as development team. So these are the details I got from the development team, so whether I can proceed or not, like that you will get sign off, right? So who need to sign off? So sign off is important, then they will give sign off here, okay? Whatever name they are, they will either they enter or they will give sign off the name, who signed off this, okay? So these are the informations, just this one you are going to give it to project team. So this is a cover page, what are the things they need to fill, okay? Then second thing is documentations, documentations and contacts. So why we need documentations and contacts, okay? So you are testing the applications, so you need to understand the QA business architectures. If we have a DBA team or database team, so everyone you want to know, suppose if you are stuck somewhere, you need to, you have to reach out the people, right? Definitely. So you need to understand the people, the contacts, right? So that's the thing for documentations and contact. So first things you need to understand, just to mention, like first thing, what is the objectives of the project? Just put a questions, they will write something why they want to test. I mentioned, right? Suppose if it is on version 2, we need to understand, right? So what happened in first version, even in version 1, you need to understand why we are testing that, what is an objectives of the project, okay? So what is the objectives of the project, okay? Then second thing is put a term tablet column, okay? Contact name or POCs, point of contact, okay? First mention, right, contact role, contact name, and contact details. If they have a second POC or something, mention like second POC or contact, alternate person to reach the thing. So you have to mention all the things. These things they will fill. These three tabular column they will fill, because you are going to give some template. That's it. Don't worry, this template will not created by you. Every organizations have a different template, okay? So they will maintain single template in all the organization. Every project will maintain one single template, but the content will be same. Maybe like the boxes, the font size, or the words how they are using, that will be different, okay? So don't worry, but the content will be the same, okay? The contact role, so you have to provide. So you want to know project manager, solution architect. Try to collect all the details. Don't worry, I'm just giving an example. But if you go into real project, if they are asking us to do scripting for this flow, just try to understand the NFR and the test plan. Just ask, just could you please share me the NFR document, or could you please share the test plan, so I want to see. Just ask the questions, okay? Just see about the NFR, okay? It's very important. Solution architect, maybe then QA manager you want to know, development manager. This is a high level, so they will not mention a team at name, okay? It's an NFR means I said the requirement gathering and a sign off, right? Even what I said, only the test lead or manager will be joining this call. They will try to get the informations from the stakeholders or development team. So we don't want the teammates name and other name, right? So that's whatever main important thing. If you reach the development team, they're going to give the teammates name. So it's just an high level, okay? Then business analyst. So these are the stakeholders you have to know. Suppose if the applications have any, suppose I mentioned JMeter, LoadRunner, or whatever tool, you will not install, right? The customer will provide you the tool. So definitely there will be some support team. So support team or operational team. Then what we have, one more thing, if we have database team, so DBA team. Just try to get all the contacts name details, and if you have any alternate POCs, so these are the informations they are going to fill. So this is called contacts, okay? Then coming to the picture of documentations, so main important point, as I mentioned, either this must be the first project, or sorry, first version, or it might be the second version, right? So you need to understand. Maybe if they have an architecture diagram, try to get that, okay? Diagram or any document or whatever it is. Always try to understand from the scratch how the project is behaving, because we know if you are getting the request to the server, you will get response. But when we are hitting to the server, there might be some load balancer. I'll the technical words and all I'll explain later. There might be some load balancer or something will be there in middle, right? So you need to understand the diagram, how the applications flow is behaving, right? So try to understand the architecture diagram. So this is not an important thing, but in NFR we used to collect. But if you want to increase your knowledge level, you want to become a performance engineer, or you want to be participate in all the call, suppose you know, right? So you know everything. If you want to know everything, you want to handle a project from a single person, try to understand this, okay? Then very important, if we have previous NFR document is there or not. It's an already version, but still you mention. If not that, they're going to mention either hyphen or nil or no or something, okay? Previous document NFR and previous test plan or something, blah blah blah. Text plan. Main important, NFR is important, even test plan is okay, fine. Based on NFR only, we are going to create a test plan. NFR is very important, and very important is previous test result, because if someone already conducted a test, we are going to do a second test, means that is a baseline test, right? We are not doing a baseline test. Already they completed one round of testing, or couple 2 3 rounds of testing. We are doing a second time, so we want to compare with which version, right? So that is the test results we need to understand. Okay, so these are the contacts and these are the documentations we required. Okay, and very important thing, in NFR call you have to ask a multiple question. Not only this document, we have to ask multiple questions. What is that? Whether the functionality is stable, built-in, available for scripting or not, because as I mentioned, your application should be stable. Okay, your application should be stable. So if it's not stable, still they are doing a development, it's based of doing performance testing. So you have to ask whether the functionality is stable for the scripting. So you can also ask here, or you can also ask in mail to maintain that. Okay, when it will get stable, or when they are going to start the development or something, and when they are going to end it. Okay, very important point, application should be stable. And other question, you have to ask when they are expect the performance testing, first performance testing execution, when they are expecting that execution date. Okay, because you need a time for scripting, you need time for an executions. Then only you can decide whether application is good or not. Today you are giving an NFR, they will fill, and tomorrow you can't do an execution. This is not like a manual testing. You need some time to do scripting, right? So you need some time. So you have to ask, so when they are expecting first. Okay, definitely if is your go live date, today is July 7th. Okay, they have mentioning July end is go live date. Okay, the application should not be ready. I mean, the performance testing. It should not get ended by July 29. Don't do like that. Okay, it should be 1 week before. Your buffer time should be 1 week before of go live date. It should not be at a very end stage. You have to target 1 week before. So in order to do that, you need to understand from the client, development, stakeholder, everyone, when they are expecting to complete. Okay, they are giving a July 7th only to the application, stable application. They are expecting to complete July 9. Definitely it's not possible, right? So you need to understand when they are expecting, and based on NFR you will decide. For example, in NFR they are giving 20 scenarios. Okay, 20 scenarios, but they are giving only two deadline date. Definitely not possible, 20 scenarios. So you have to decide whether you are going to cover all the 20 scenarios, or you are going to pick only two scenarios or 10 scenarios. So that's why we need an NFR. So before that, you have to ask these questions: when is the go live date, and when we are targeting the first test of executions. First, try to collect that. Then, based on scenarios, we can decide whether we can able to do it or not. So these type of questions you have to ask it in NFR meeting. Okay, it's very important. That will be first meeting will be like an NFR to understand the requirement. There you have to ask these type of questions. Okay, first application should be stable when start and end. Then second thing is very important, when they are expecting the execution of first performance test. Okay, maybe if you want, please note it down, ask this type of questions in the meeting. Okay, so when they are expecting the first test, and when they are expecting the overall test. Okay, and make sure based on buffer time you give some tentative date. Okay, first ask the date. If not possible, you give your convenient date, then we'll see. Okay, because before the application stable, they will not move into productions live. Okay, it's very important. So applications should be, you have to get the stable application, but once fine tune the applications from our side, then we will give the applications to the dev team, then they will push it to the go live productions. Okay, and very important, the dates are very important. Ask the questions in NFR meetings when they are starting, when you want to complete it, what is the deadline date. So these are the information you should ask in the meeting. Okay, someone missed, try to get this. Okay, and to be honest, some manager, right, under a team there will be a 10 member, but to the client or to the development team they will mention only 2 resource or 3 resource. So based on that only you have to decide the scenarios, very important. Okay, and don't accept all. Suppose if we are giving 10 user journey. Okay, for example, I'll come into the section, that you will understand more. Okay, first you will know the cover page, then documentations. Third thing is requirement. Okay, so first user journey, take it as account creation. Okay, I'm not going to fill anything, you're just going to give the title. Development team or tester will fill this section. These and all, the project team know the details like contact manager, the document and everything. Definitely some leads or some project manager, even a client have a document they will fill, but under a requirement only tester will fill these informations. I'll tell you why the tester fill this information. But tester fill the information, but they will get a user journey from client as well as the development team. Okay, they will check with the development team and client what are the user journey I have to provide as steps. Okay, because we need to understand the steps, then only we can do the flow, right? Okay. Okay, account creations means first what will they will give, launch the applications, then you have to click sign up button, enter username and password, then click OK button or something, logout page. So for this particular account creation, okay, for this particular account creation there are certain steps, right? So likewise you have a second user journey. Maybe like modify or something. Same, I'm just writing the same thing. Maybe instead username, you want to click not sign up, log in here. After login, you are entering something in somewhere, okay, and enter the details or something. Click hyperlink or something logout. Okay, so like this, you will get user journey name as well as Steps. Some people they will call it as steps. Some people may call it as traversal flow. Okay, don't confuse with the word. Each project will use a different words. Just try to understand. If not, then ask the questions. Okay. Traversal flow or traversal steps or steps. Okay. So every flow user journey means I'm talking about the scenario. Okay. Every user journey have a certain steps. Every flow have a certain steps, definitely, right? So likewise, if they are giving based on the discussion with the client, what they will give, they will decide, okay, these are the user journeys they want to test. So they will give this money scenarios. Okay, but you have very less deadline. And very important, definitely these user journey will be picked by critical scenarios, not all the scenarios. Very important, definitely they will pick the critical scenarios. Maybe this is the critical scenarios it is impacting in productions. Okay, so the critical scenarios only they will give. Okay, not all the things. Suppose if they are giving all the things, just try to explain them. Performance testing is not like we are testing all the flow. Performance testing is only the purpose of doing the critical scenarios. Okay, only critical scenarios. Very important. First scenarios is having 5 steps. Second scenarios is having 5 steps. Suppose for example, third scenario is having 100 steps. Definitely it will be there. Okay, possibilities are there. Fourth scenario is 200 steps, 10 steps or 5 steps. So these are the things they are saying. Finally they concluded, yes, these are the critical scenarios. I want to test, definitely these are the critical scenarios. I want to test in the applications. But if you take the steps, okay, if you take the steps, some having 5, some is having 100, or some is having 200 means you need some time to prepare the script as well as an execution. So basically we will plan 3 rounds of test. Okay, three rounds of test. Okay, first test, second test, third test. But definitely in middle we'll do some debug test. Why I'm telling, if you done first type of test, you will face some issues. What will team will do? Okay, yes, there is some issues in the server, I want to fine tune. Yes, there is some issues in the code, I want to fine tune. So after fine tune, what you will do? You will do second test of test. Okay, fine. If there is not changes in any request level, if there is not changes in any request level, fine, we can immediately we can start the second. Don't think it's going very theoretically, right? So if you have any doubts, please ask the question. NFR is very important. Okay, it's an initial stage of performance testing. Even if we are going any tool, either JMeter or LoadRunner or NeoLoad or whatever it is, if you are choosing any tool, this NFR is a basic things. Before, without NFR, you will not start scripting. Just try to understand an NFR. NFR is very important. Okay, if you are not understanding, ask the questions. Okay, please ask the questions. Okay. Okay, so coming to here, so 200 users or 100 users or maximum 300 users or some, sorry, 300 steps. Okay, so what you will do? Seconds execution. The first execution, there is some impact in the applications, so they fine tune the code level or server level or database level. Any changes will be there. Okay, it should not impact your scripting. Suppose that changes is important, they did the changes, but definitely your script will fail, right? Again you need time to do same flow, this particular flow, this particular flow, this particular flow, this particular flow. So you need another efforts to do scripting, right? Suppose if they did some changes in code, definitely it will impact your scripting, right? So you need another time to do the executions. Okay, what will happen? They are giving, again, just think about the go live date and deadline date. Our deadline date. So based on go live and deadline, based on scenario, please talk with the team so that team, these are the user journey we are going to cover. This is not able to cover. Maybe finally they will agree to do the next phase, next version. Okay, but finally two things they will ruled out. We will do the remaining user journey, and we will do the user journey in next round of version. Okay, so depends on a resource. I'm just talking about the lead level, but still you need to understand the concept. Based on the resource you have, based on a go live date, based on a deadline date, you have to agree with the user journey. It's very very important. Okay, based on your thing you have to agree. You agreed for everything in enough our discussions, finally you are not able to complete anything, means it's our fault, right? As a performance tester, it's our fault. Okay, we should not do that. We should not give false statement to the team. Based on resource, based on go live, based on deadline date, you have to decide. Okay, maybe if the case they will ruled out. Okay, and one important thing, suppose if you want to do, suppose just think you have this scenario. Okay, you you have this scenario. For this scenario, what you need login. Correct, you need login. Without login you will not modify, but in user journey you will are seeing only modify scenario. So where you will go with the login? So you need login. So for login you have to create a test data. Correct, you have to create a test data. So it required another script, but in NFR there is no script like login. They just script like modify, but you need these credentials. Who will give? Either you need to create, or DBA team or development team will create. You have to ask this type of questions. You need to understand the flow. Who will help to understand the flow? Tester. Once you get the NFR, try to ask some time to understand the NFR document. After filling the informations, just go with the flow, understand the flow. So whatever informations you needed, just ask the question who is going to provide. If we are going to do the flow, it needs an additional efforts, right? So based on go live, resource, deadline date, just act accordingly. Okay, this is very 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 important to choose the scenario. Don't agree for all the scenario. If you agreed, so if there is no other way we have to do, means no other way, you have to do day and night. That is also happening. Okay, some people know they will strictly stick into the go live date, so that time we have to do no other way. If they are not reducing anything, you have to do everything. Okay, some client will accept that, some client will not accept that. Okay, but you have to ask these type of questions to the client and development team. It's very 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 important. Okay, so this is a requirement. I'm just stopping here. Still, we have something in NFR. I'll continue on Monday. Till here, anyone having any questions? Hello.
Yeah, hi, Priyanka, this is Prabhu. So, number of users we need to test, even that will be given by the client, right? The 200
Correct. Yeah.
users, 100 users, and everything.
Yes. Everything in NFR you will get. Till I didn't mention that particular column. I'll continue on Monday. Yes, these details will given by client and development team.
Okay.
Now, if the application is new and we don't have any NFR, what will be our approach? How we collect the NFRs then?
Yes, I'll tell that in upcoming sections. If you don't have anything, that's why I stopped about the users. Okay, how we can approach the users, I'll tell. I'll tell in upcoming section. But it's good question. I'll cover in upcoming sections.
Okay.
So till user level, I didn't start, right. So only till user journey, the documentations and cover page. The user level, I'll start it next section. Then you'll get more picture. I'll cover that. Okay, don't worry. So till
Or
whatever I,
can you share some of the sample document? What are the how's the template looks like? You have any standard?
no, we don't have any standard because I mentioned right. Every project have a different template. The content will be same. That is an official thing, right? So we will not share any document. But these are the informations. Maybe if you are in a project or if you once join a project, just ask. If anything is different, just ask me. Okay, but don't worry. That concept will be the same. Definitely, the documentation, looks and views will be different. No? But that NFR and all, it's very official one, so nobody will share those type of documents. But this I'm just giving, as I have a more experience, right? I would expect
Yeah.
my team to know everything, like on everything. So even if I'm asking some interviews, definitely if they are having some experience or something, I'll ask this question: Have you ever worked on it or not? Right? So because I would
Yeah.
expect members should be handled end to end, right? So don't worry, this is the content, but the template, the view will be different.
Okay.
Don't think it's going only theoretically, but no other way. NFR test plan is completely a theoretical thing. Okay, so we are not giving any tool or something, right? So but at the initial stage you should understand the basics, you should understand how we have to approach with the client and development team. So that's very important thing. Some people, they will not do any work, but they will manage with management without knowing anything. They will talk nicely, right? Based on
Yeah.
interviews, or they will talk nicely, we will take, but they will not understand the scripting. But this is a very initial things. You should, everyone should understand this. That's why I'm just putting an effort to explaining these things actually. So mostly in institute, right, the people will not cover this, but I'm just I want my people to know every basics, because definitely if I'm an interviewer, I will ask this type of questions: have you ever worked in enough for a test plan or not? So even scripting easily we can learn, but without knowing this, if they are doing scripting, it's nothing, right? So any questions? Don't worry about the users. Still we have throughput TPH, how we are going to achieve the 1 hour. Having covered those things in NFR, still we have to lots things to explain the user throughput, how the concurrent users we are going to achieve, how the response time, how we are going to get the failure rate. These are things in upcoming section. If I'm explaining everything in a single class in technical things and theoretical thing means you'll get more load, right? That's why I'm stopping here.
And the scenario is also given by the client only, right?
Yes, yes, client. So client will decide, because client knows, right? 100 users or 200 users. So what is impacting? Either login is impacting or what is impacting. So
Like
client
in
will
some of
decide.
the interviews, they are asking how you design the scenario. That time, what will be our probable the answers like?
Okay. So define the scenarios. So just I'm giving an overview, but still haven't gone through the user level. Okay. So for
Yeah.
example, this particular user journey, they are giving 100 users. Okay. This particular
Okay.
user journey two, they are giving 200 users. This particular, so you know the users, this is a virtual users. You, whenever I'm mentioning you, just think about virtual users. Okay, don't get confused. Okay, this is a virtual users. This is response time. RT means response time. So these are the shortcuts they used in project. That's why I'm also mentioning the same thing. They'll not type all the time RT, response time, response time, response time, virtual user, right? So they will use some shortcuts, virtual user, response time. Okay. This particular user journey, 100 virtual user, this particular step is having 2 seconds. 3 seconds or 4 seconds or 2 seconds, 1 second. Okay. This particular user journey is response time or SLA, service level agreement. SLA means service level agreement. Login should not take more than 2 seconds of SLA. Launch should not take more than 2 seconds of response time or SLA. Login should not take 3 seconds. So your response time should be less than these things. Okay. So you will know the user, you will know the this thing. Okay. So as I mentioned, you have uh, users and response time. Okay. So just take only two. Okay. Just take only two. Which one you will choose? You want to do only one, which one you will choose? Either modify or user journey one. Hello.
Sorry, Priyanka, can you come again? What is the question?
Okay, so we have a user journey, two user journey, modify and user journey one. These are the two user journey. Okay, just two user journey. I'm giving these are the steps I'm just giving. Okay, okay. So I mentioned we have two user journey, modify and user journey one. So you want to pick only one scenarios, which user journey you will pick. You have only deadline for the limited period. Only one user journey is enough. So which user journey you will pick? So
Modify.
no, just pick user journey one. Why? Because here see the users. It is only 100 user, but in real time, the peak user is 200. This user journey is having very high users when compared to this. This is only 100 users. Still, it's high only, but you have only deadline. Complete only one scenario. Mean choose this one because user journey virtual user is very high. So definitely
So
200 people
depending
is
upon the virtual users, we have to choose the journey, right?
yes, depending upon the virtual users as well as the response time. Response time is fine. For example, even the client is mentioning even it's still an 100 user, you should ask this question. Even it is an 100 users, so what's the impact in productions? In which they are expecting 4 seconds as I mentioned, for enter the detail, you not get any response, but still they will mention. Just ignore it, okay? Just hyperlink 4. You have to understand which particular step is impacting. You have to ask this question, which particular steps is impacting high in productions. Still we have a virtual users 200. I am picking this, but this particular user journey is good in production means, I mean, in production application. Production means real time applications. It's fine. Okay, 200 user, it's performing good. Fine. Still, it's an 100 user. It's impacting an hyperlink. Very worst scenario means then go with modify. If you are not everything is well and good, okay. If you're not knowing what is impacting, then choose based upon the virtual user. Okay, when you have to choose based upon the virtual user depends on impact. If it's more impact, even though the virtual user is very less, then go with the modify. Okay, it's everything is well and good, then go with here. Okay, suppose if you are not sure about the user, your question someone asked, right? Your question, you are not support not sure about the user, then definitely in production application something will be impacting, right? So maybe this is impacting, so based on the analysis we will decide either modified or user journey. Okay, based on the impact, based on the higher priority. I'm not talking about the critical scenarios, these two are definitely critical scenarios, but out of two there might be an higher impact or higher priority they are focusing, just to choose that one. Okay, suppose if you have very less deadline, you have to choose this modify, or if you're not sure, then you have to do all the things. No other way, you have to spend the time, you have to do all the things. That's the performance testing. Suppose if it is going in productions, you choose user journey one, but modify it's failing means it's our fault, we didn't test the modify, right? So depends upon the impact, depends upon the user, virtual user, you have to decide. It's not about only the virtual user, it's not about the response time, it's not about the steps, you have to decide each and everything. So why we are asking these informations to fill from the client means they have some expectations, but this should take only this much second, this particular detail should take this much seconds, and what is the user journey they want to cover. So that's why we are asking these details to fill by client as well as the development team. Why development team? Because the development team knows, okay, this particular steps they only did the code, right? They knows, okay, correct, it's only 5 seconds only it will take, or 4 seconds only it will take. So these particular meeting will be for everyone, not only for client and tester, not only for client and development team, it's along with architect, development team, tester, performance tester, as well as stakeholder, client. Okay, so they will decide. Even okay, client is saying 4 seconds, but definitely development team knows based on the code. No, no, it will not take 4 seconds. I have added so many requests or so many third party call in hyperlink. Definitely it will take 10 seconds means based on the discussion they will give the response time. Okay, so based on a response time, based on a virtual user, based on the impact of the particular steps, and based on user count, based on the impact, you have to decide. Don't strictly stay in virtual user or steps or response time. Okay, you have to focus all the thing. Then you have to pick. Suppose if what scenario I'm telling, but if no other go, we have to do everything. Clear?
Yes. And you are saying in endurance testing, we are testing, this testing is for the checking the memory leakage, right?
Correct.
So how we check that memory leakage?
Okay, definitely they will have some monitoring tool. Okay,
Yeah.
definitely in go in real time application, 100 percentage they will have monitoring tool. Okay, without monitoring tool, no other project will be there. Definitely 100 percentage monitoring tool will be there. When you are running, definitely what will happen? Your request will hit to the server. You will get some
Yeah.
response. Correct?
Yes.
Request response, this is the concept. So your
Yeah.
request will get to the server, so where the server side they will connect something in monitoring side, either Dynatrace or site scope or whatever it is, right?
Okay.
So there you can see what is the percentage of memory utilization or percentage of CPU utilization. So in monitoring side, you will not see from the tool or JMeter or LoadRunner. You can see these informations in monitoring sites. Okay, so there you can see the memory percentage. There you can filter what's happening in 30 minutes, what is happening in 1 hour. There you can check the percentage.
So,
Based on that you will provide, sorry.
yeah, so you are saying we are getting the percentage of memory utilization, right? So how we
Yes,
deal with which particular thread or anything is taking the high memory then?
yes, if you have ever worked in monitoring tool, then definitely I think you saw something, then only you are asking this question, right?
Yeah, I have knowledge on Neuralink, but the particular where we can see? I am not getting that.
Okay, New Lake, if you see the top consuming transactions, you can see definitely, right?
Yes.
Top one. Okay. So the definitely that will be culprit, right? The top consuming transactions. So you have to provide these informations to the development team saying this particular time, this particular period of time, I'm seeing this many memory percentage as well as I'm seeing these are the transaction is causing a response time SLA breaches. Then
Okay.
they will check from the server side. Definitely will not have an access for server, right? So they will check
Yes.
server. Suppose they have two server or three server, they will check which server is causing an issues. So what you can give as a performance tester, you can give all the things. So might be this is the reason, these are the informations we got from the tool, then they will analyze the server, then they will fine tune. So we no need to worry about that, right? So we know
Oh,
all the details, what are the request is causing an SLA, where which particular time you are seeing the memory percentage, and how many servers we know that. Definitely that we need to understand in NFR, right? That I'll
mm,
cover in upcoming section.
okay.
These are the informations you are providing to development team, then development team check all the servers, then they will catch the culprit.
Okay.
Any other questions? Just recall this NFR. Okay, this NFR is very important. It's only theoretically, but just think about the performance point of view. Okay, so how we can get the project, how we can start the scripting. So just think about the point, because to start the scripting, we know the flow, we'll start the scripting. Okay, but how we'll get the flow? First things, suppose if you are doing an execution, second question is how many user you want to give, that is your second question, right? So so that details you will get it in NFR. So the NFR is a very basics for scripting and execution, even reporting how you will decide. Based on these results only you will decide whether it is good or bad, whether it can go to productions or not. So based on NFR only you will decide everything. Okay, so NFR is very 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 important in a performance testing. So you should have, everyone should have knowledge on NFR. Try to attend. Suppose if you are in project, if you're not in project, don't worry. Maybe in future if you explain this many informations, definitely your interview people will get impressed. So try to attend the meeting if you're in project. Okay, if you're not allowing to join, try to get the informations how we are approaching, because our next level will be like a team lead or manager or something, right? So you should know how to handle the project. So that's very important. So this is very important. Okay, so I think no any other questions. So if we have any questions, then ask questions in upcoming sections. I'm ready to answer for that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all. Bye. Take
Yeah.
care.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
We'll continue the sections on Monday. Happy weekend. Bye.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.